Hey guys, it's Lazy Man. Today we're going to be making a custom 3-pin fan terminal bus. And if you're like me, I have several fans in the Black Widow, and I want to be able to run all my wires into a central location. So that being said, I tried to find a terminal bus that would suit my needs, and all I could come up with was a standard power ground terminal bus, and I didn't think that was going to work. So anyway, I did look online. I did find a 3-pin fan terminal bus that was actually a large unit. I think it operated or controlled 4 or 5 fans, but because it was so large, you had to mount that in the front of your case, and you couldn't actually conceal it behind the motherboard tray. So I decided I'd make my own, and what I came up with is taking a 3-pin female connector, a 3-pin male connector, and wiring these together. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and make a 9-bay terminal bus, and what I'll do is once I got all these made, I'll go ahead and mount this onto a piece of acrylic like this, and then we'll go ahead and mount that behind the motherboard tray. So anyway, I went ahead and made 6 of these so far. I've got to make 3 more, and what I did was just a regular standard 3-pin connector. You can pick these up at any electronic store or online. I mean, these are really cheap. And then on the male side, or the male 3-pin connector, you have an option. You can take your wire and you can solder that to the pin itself, which I found it being kind of difficult. I mean, trying to hold the connector, hold the wire, hold the soldering iron, and hold the solder. Even with the vise, I was having trouble. So I went and found these crimp pins, and I'll take a picture of these so you guys can see what this looks like. But these actually just, let me see if I can show this to you. These actually just snap on the back here, just like that, and that makes it a whole lot easier. So anyway, let me go ahead and get set up, and we'll show you how we made these. Alright guys, I've tried to run a little demo here, and because the pins are so small, even if I zoom in, you guys aren't going to get a good view of this, so I'm going to do the best I can. And also I'm just going to go ahead and wire up one wire here in lieu of time. I don't want to run over the 10.59 restriction that YouTube puts on me. But anyway, so with that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and wire up one of these. YouTube did send me an email asking if I wanted to apply for their partnership program a couple months ago, and I finally I kind of debated, and finally I decided let's just go for it. I know there's a lot of negative stuff about it, but I'm really wanting to be able to make videos that aren't restricted by 10 minutes, especially when I'm showing these how-to videos. So that being said, we're going to give it a try. They may not even accept me, but if they do, we will be able to make some longer videos. The first thing you'd want to do is cut your wire, and I went ahead and cut these about 1 1/4 inch long, and then I exposed just less than 1/4 inch of wire on either end. So anyway, what you want to do is take your little connector, or your actual pin here, and this is going to be real hard to see. I'll take a picture so you guys can see this, but there's actually 2 parts to this where you crimp the wire. One actually crimps the wire itself, and the other one actually crimps the insulation. So you want to set that down in there, and it's really hard to hold, but do the best you can. Try to hold that in there. Set it in far enough where the pin itself on the end of the pin actually crimps down on to the insulation. And then what I'd like to do is I'd like to get them started. I take a pair of needle nose pliers. These angled ones work really well, but I go ahead and start crimping that down, and all that does is just hold it there for me so I can get the crimping tool on it. And then where the wire is, I'll crimp that too. So anyway, that's started, so you can see that'll hold the pin right on there. Then I take the crimping tool, and this has different markings on it. You're going to match up the the size wire with the crimping tool. In this case it is a 22 gauge wire, so I'm going to go ahead and set that right into the 22 gauge. And there's actually a way to put these in. I'll show you in a moment, but go ahead and get that set and then crimp that down. And then what I like to do is roll it one more time and then crimp it again. So anyway, if you can see the teeth here, for instance, the 22 gauge wire is this first one here. Let me use these to point to it. This here, and you can see that this is rounded here, and then this comes actually down onto that. So you want to put the connector, the rounded part is where the tabs are, and these are going to curl around the wire. So you actually want that facing down into the crimping tool. And when you squeeze this, it'll actually force that and crimp around it. If you crimped it this way, it's going to open it up even more. So you'll notice that when you start crimping. So anyway, we got the one side on, and we'll go ahead and put the other side on. And what I've noticed, the hardest thing when you're making multiple connections that are the same, you're going to want these to be exactly the same size. So what I do is I get that started in there, then I take one that I've already done and I kind of match that up just to see, you know, how close I am. And I can see that one's going to be a little long, so we're going to go ahead and trim this wire real quick. Okay, this one holds a little bit better, but even that being said, I'm still going to, I don't know if you can see the two little tabs sticking up. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze those together. Get them started going around the wire. Same thing with the front crimper. And then set this in there, turn it upside down, and give it a squeeze. And then what I do is rotate it, and give it another squeeze. Alright, so that's that there. If you find out that you don't have that it's not crimped very well, you can go ahead and solder them. You know, go ahead and crimp them, and then you can actually add solder to them, and that'll hold them really well. But then again, after that, here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the rest, and then we'll get back with you. Alright guys, went ahead and got these three made. Now what you want to do is just get your connector here, and I know that with the connector facing this way, that it's black and it's red and then yellow. So you get those three on there. Then what I like to do is take a little bit of sleeving or heat shrink, put that on. Alright, and then you take your other end of your connector, and this one, when this is sitting like this with the pins up, let's see if we can see this, with the pins up, this connector here goes facing up also, and that way when the power comes into this and it exits to the fan, everything's running in the right order. So what you do is you just take this and line up these three here, slide those three on, and you can see that makes a really nice tight fit. And then what I'll do is I'll heat shrink these down when I'm all done. So anyway, that's it guys. Two more to go. I'll make the rest of these and then we'll mount it to the acrylic. Alright guys, as you can see I got all 9 of these made up. They turned out pretty nice. Now what we need to do is attach them to the acrylic. And let me zoom out there and we'll take a look at this. What I've done is I went ahead and marked where each of these will be attached to the acrylic for two reasons. One, so I know where to put the adhesive, and two, so I can evenly space these on there. So anyway, because of time limitations, I'm going to go ahead and mount those and we'll take a final look at it. The way I'm going to mount these is with this contact cement. This stuff actually is good for plastics, laminates, metal, wood, leather, linoleum, tile, rubber, and fabric. So I think this should do the trick. Alright, so we'll get these mounted and we'll take a final look at it. Alright, there we have it. As you can see, it's fully assembled and mounted on the back of the motherboard tray, and it's quite sturdy. So anyway, we mounted that with 3M double-sided tape, and it turned out pretty nice. So anyway, thanks for viewing in, and this is Lazy Man, off to get a Corona.